Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Track D. I hope that you're doing well and are enjoying the content we have prepared for you. Joining me today is Haris Dedovic. He is the editor in chief of Shatro Info, a regional online political satire magazine from Sarajevo. Also, he's a TV show producer and creative director in Dogba. He's going to be elaborating on why is it important to rethink concepts for a better work environment. Harise, it's a great thing to have you with us, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Greetings, everyone. Sarajevo calling. And I will talk today a little bit more about rethinking concepts for better work environment, which we all need to focus on since the recent events. Coronavirus struck, and it struck hard. Nothing in the history of the world didn't affect the whole planet in regards of how we do our daily activities regarding work and business. And we started to understand that maybe it's not necessary to dress up or even get dressed at all, put on makeup, go to work, spend time in the traffic, and so on. So nowadays, since there's a lot of remote work or actually work from home, we can say that we are very happy that we can spend our breaks doing something that we like, having an exercise, doing some home chores, helping out with the household works, and sometimes even catch a quick power nap. Maybe why not? That is all fine and dandy, and it's really nice to see that we have different approaches these days. But what happened with the productivity while doing work from home? Now we'll get into some research that shows us how did affect our productivity. For example, popular Stanford research done with 16,000 employees showed 13% increase in productivity when working remotely. Great Place to Work conducted research among 800,000 employees, compared the same periods in 2019 and 2020 with people who worked from home in 2020, and found out the productivity has stayed the same or increased during the 2020. And in this period in 2020, most of the workers, or sometimes even everyone, was working from home. And another important thing being mentioned in these researches is non-work related time that is spent in when people are in the offices. So, for example, the survey by the Airtasker says that people show that they spend less time in a water cooler talk and 7% less time talking to the management when they're working from home. So another thing good that happened during the COVID-19 is commuting to work, or its absence actually has done a great deal to praise remote work in comparison to the office work, whether it's just 15-minute walk or a 1 or 2 hour drive, or using public transport, whatever. This time was saved and has done a great deal to our already packed and busy schedules. So a study has shown that on average, a worker saves up to 8.5 hours a week while not having to commute to work, which comes down, it doesn't sound big, but when you break it down to a 1 year period, it's 408 hours, and which comes down to 17 days. Literally, this is, we would all agree, a one good vacation a year that we save on commuting to work. It's in this also in the same survey, it has been reported that on average people work out 30 minutes more during the week when they're working from home. So As a conclusion, work from home is great. We are more productive, have less distractions, have less empty time in our corridors, kitchens, or gaming rooms. We also don't have this annoying thing called traffic that we spend a lot of time in. So, if we would all work from home, we could say that um, our cities would be much less crowded. Some industries would be very happy for that. For example, carriers, food delivery people, truck drivers. Everybody would be so happy if everybody would work from home, at least the ones who can work from home. So, is there a downside to this? Well, there is. Um, One bearded guy, somewhat 300 years ago before Christ, wrote, "Humans are by nature social animals." His name was Aristotle, and he had this thing where he usually was right about people because he liked to think a lot and observe. Until that changes, the conclusion is unfortunately we are addicted to each other. Also, unfortunately, we will probably not live long enough to see that this thing changes because um, still the human interactions are one very, very important thing. So now I will get a little bit into the problems um, of remote work. Problem number one, it's not a long-term booster of productivity. Learning and progress becomes more and more difficult. So, a recent article in the Washington Post that included many relevant research says that research suggests that a switch to a permanent remote would make us all less productive. This study states that a short-term productivity and efficiency is boosted, but in a long run, it has negative effects since we don't have human interaction. Also, two studies have been shown in this research, one done in China and one in the US, and both were done before the pandemic. What these people did was separate their call centers in two groups. And the very big thing about this was that the ones who worked from home had much less possibility to advance in their career. So, for example, 23% of the workers in US had a promotion in the first 12 months, and for the ones who worked in the office, and the ones who worked from home had only 10% of people promoted while working. So the conclusion here is, in the short term, the productivity goes up when working from home or remotely in general. But in the long term, the challenges are to focus on the work, and therefore productivity lowers in time. Also, the improvement and the advancing in the career becomes much more difficult with the remote work. And now we'll also touch a little bit this learning process, because we would all agree that big part of our jobs is learning new skills, improving, and some would also argue that online learning or studying is different from online work, but there's also learning in the work, so you can't separate it that much. For example, we had a research a study in the Netherlands that its final conclusion was even in the ideal conditions, the students who were learning online had little or no improvement at all in their studying. Um, Problem number two is isolation, decreased creativity and innovation, and detachment from workplace. It's easy for employees to feel like they're part of the big picture or the mission. It's easy to feel the culture of the company when they're there. and together with their colleagues, of course, and the seniors and the management of the company. But when they're away, they can't feel that they're involved in a company happenings, and this can create a large turnover. I think we all agree that majority companies, especially IT, are in the business of innovation and problem solving. This is one big thing when we're talking about the companies that are coming up or the ones that are already huge. We have to stay innovative and problem solving because situation around us, especially nowadays, is changing. And this is the part where remote work does the most damage. Work from home means that it's more difficult to bond with colleagues. Face-to-face interaction with like-minded coworkers creates synergy, and without it, there's a negative impact on business ability to innovate. And this is according to latest Microsoft report. This report says that in 2019, 56% of the leaders in their different companies under the Microsoft umbrella said that their products and services are innovative. It was only true for 40% of these people, of the leaders of the companies in 2020. When employees are not physically in the space together, brainstorming suffers, thus new ideas are fewer. The chief executive group asked 500 CEOs what their biggest challenge was in managing the sudden transition to remote work. Top concern stated by the 60% of respondents was managing the culture. Problem number 3, mental health. When it comes to work from home, this is probably the number one issue that we are facing now. I don't want to get into too much detail since I strongly believe that there's many people here who understand what the mental health is and what's and its importance, but I'll just run some numbers by you since there has been a lot of taboos in developing societies about mental health. The risk of burnout while working from home all day, every day is rising. A survey by Monster.com said that 69% of employees are experiencing burnout symptoms while working from home. Survey conducted by the Hubble shows that men and women have almost the same issue and 20% increase of negative impacts to their mental health while working from home. Survey conducted by VMaker says that 45% employees say they feel less mentally healthy while working from home. The same result was shown in the survey conducted by TELUS International and quoted by Forbes. 68% of workers said Zoom fatigue has added to their already existing stress factors or stressors, however you want to call it. These and many more factors should be taken in consideration when talking about new ways of doing business. Let's just check into quickly how the big companies and big brands that we know of did handle the crisis of coronavirus striking. Shopify, for example, announced that they would be providing work at home employees with $1,000 allowance to make their office at home, for example, to buy some chairs, lamps, tables, whatever they need, and the company took that expense. Culligan Water, on the other hand, had a very good approach even before the pandemic. They kind of cared about well-being of their workers even before, and this included on-site health coach, virtual well-being portal, and employee counseling. In response to COVID-19, the company went even further. Its support package include weekly self-care videos, manager well-being calls, meditation sessions, resilience training, and numerous activities guided towards fostering workplace happiness and boosting employer satisfaction. Bank of Ireland, that has taken creative approach on employee health and well-being, along with a career development program aimed at fostering professional well-being with a colleague well-being app. This app, which can be synced with the Fitbit, it can access to seminars, fitness tracker, one-on-one counseling, live events, and a nutritional planner. From all this data mentioned above, we are coming to a conclusion that the best way for doing business is a hybrid model. It's becoming more popular, and many surveys say that since we are now in this after pandemic, so sort of after pandemic world, we can learn something from it, and the hybrid model is probably the thing that is the best that happened to us in a way of doing work. This will make some things better, but will make some things less good for sure. Also, we have more remote positions now, where, especially in IT world, people hire, companies hire people from another city, another country, or another continent. And this comes a little bit as a problem. So we were thinking what we can do about our problem or an issue of team members not understanding each other, not being connected, not being together. And we figured out that there is one single thing that is pleasant and good for our health, mental and physical. And we would usually all like to have more of this in our lives, but we kind of don't find time for this usually, and that is nature. I hope I don't have to prove why the nature is such a good thing for our brains and our bodies, because many smarter people than me did it way before I was even alive. So we'll just jump in a little bit in our solution, because we created a business benefit service where we provide service for the companies, where companies can come up on a remote locations in nature and work from there. Another thing that I think I don't have to prove is what would happen for a team if a team would have, for example, working from home or a hybrid model, or from the office for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then 1 week in nature together. All of this, especially having, of course, having enterprise-grade internet connection, organic food, natural environment, and we could use our breaks, for example, to go for a swim, to have a volleyball game, to have somewhat a team building game. And all this happens in a region of Balkans, particularly ex-Yugoslavia, where if some people visited can know that the nature is beautiful, that we have friendly people, that we are in the middle of Europe and very well connected, and that we are crazy cheap. So, would you be interested in doing this? Of course, now this is a little bit more possible, since we have Nature Hub, where we provide you with all the services you need, so you can focus on your best performance at work. What does this mean is that many times we come up with the issues where people go to remote work or team building, where they have to care about internet connection, the amenities, the staff, the food, the activities that can be done, and this is all now done by us. So welcome to the Nature Hub, and now I would like to show you some of our locations that we have and a short video. And after that, I would like to leave some time for the questions. So here you can see our locations. This is where you could work with your colleagues. This is, for example, in Herzegovina. It is a resort on the river, which is, of course, 100% clean and can and water from it can be. It's good for drinking, basically. That's what I want to say. I'm kind of stuck a little bit. This is one location on a mountain where there's a lot of hikes near this, some waterfalls, and so on. And this is one resort where you can have a pool, but it is also not a fancy, overcrowded tourist place, but more of a hidden gem of our country. Now I would like to show you our video from one of our locations, because we're still working on this marketing and PR of locations. So we're still recording stuff, and you can see now one of our locations that is in Herzegovina. So there.
Thank you very much. The video looks amazing. So I'm just gonna check with the production team whether we have any questions. If not, I would like to thank you for participating in HR Week. Your presentation was amazing. You had some very interesting insights. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye, and see you soon.
Bye.